Welcome to SVR IAS Academy. ComeOnIndia.com is our website. Today's newspaper analysis video section, we will discuss so many important topics which are useful for IAS 2017 examination. Today's date is October 24th, 2016. First article that we are going to discuss is on battle against IS. IS stands for Islamic State. Islamic State. IS is also called as ISIS. The main aim of the battle is to retake Mosul. Mosul is the second largest city of Iraq. Mosul is the second largest city of Iraq. Is an important point. At present, it is the headquarters of ISIS. ISIS is mainly located here. Till 2014, ISIS took so many areas from Iraq, Syria, and some parts of Turkey. Turkey is only a minor part. So mainly it took so many parts from Iraq and Syria. After 2014, international alliance, especially USA, European Union member countries, and Iraq forces, Syrian forces, Russian forces, all were attacking the ISIS from all quarters. So ISIS area is shrinking. And if Iraq forces successful in taking Mosul means ISIS can be wiped out soon. In this image, you can locate West Asia and Arabian Peninsula. This is Persian Gulf, which joins with the Arabian Sea through Strait of Hormuz that we already discussed. Strait of Hormuz is one of the choke point on the earth. Choke point is an important topic that we already covered a separate video lecture on the topic. And here you can see the country of Iraq, Iran, Iraq, Syria is located here, and Jordan, Saudi Arabia. Before discussing the ISIS and before reading about anything about West Asia, keep your map with you and always locate the countries. West Asia is a very important area from the geography map point of view, especially the location of Dead Sea. Location of Dead Sea is an important area, and what all the island countries are there in the Persian Gulf. Island country name in the Persian Gulf, and whether Iraq has access to Persian Gulf or not. What are all the landlocked countries in the West Asia? Landlocked countries in the West Asia. Names of the important deserts and important rivers that flows in the West Asia. So prepare thoroughly on the West Asia. West Asia is also called as Middle East. Middle East, why it is called so? So these are the important areas you should prepare in this region. Now let's come back to the topic of ISIS. In this image, you can see the red marked lines here also. ISIS area is shrinking, and at present its capital is Mosul. This is the Iraq region. In the northern part of Iraq, Mosul, which is the second largest city of Iraq, is located, which is controlled by ISIS. So Iraq launched a biggest offensive against ISIS to retake the Mosul along with the help of US and European forces. You should prepare thoroughly on the topic of ISIS and what is happening in the Iraq, US and other Western powers' involvement in the West Asian region. It is important for civil services examination because in GS paper 2 we have a topic called as effect of policies and politics of developed countries like US, European Union and developing countries like Brazil, Argentina in South America and China, Russia. In the world, we have more than 190 countries. Out of that, more than 100 countries can be called as developing countries. So, the politics of developed and developing countries on India's interest. West Asia, many political analysts call West Asia as India's extended neighborhood. If you read the foreign policy, we can come across some important terms like India's neighbors, India's extended neighborhood. We can call Asian countries, Central Asian countries, and also the West Asia as India's extended neighborhood. Whatever happening in India's neighborhood and also extended neighborhood has direct repercussions on India's security, whether economic security, political security, everything. So we have to focus on our neighbors and extended neighborhood as well. So you might be also aware that economic sanctions on Iran is also lifted, especially after P5+1 talks that resulted in the agreement on Iran's nuclear program that already we discussed in detail. So now, after that, economic sanctions are slowly getting lifted on Iran. When economic sanctions are imposed on Iran, Iraq emerged as second largest supplier of crude oil to India. So at present, Iraq is also one of the important player of providing crude oil to India. So Iraq's security is also important to India for our energy security. Another issue is that ISIS. Some Indian youth, especially from Kerala, Tamil Nadu and few other states and also from northern states, recently shown interest to join the ISIS. In the last 2 months, the topic of Indian youth joining the ISIS coming in the news. So in this background, you should prepare thoroughly on the ISIS and Iraq, the steps taken by Iraq and other world powers to remove the ISIS from the earth. How ISIS took control of this region initially. For that, you must know some basics about Shia-Sunni Muslims conflict. There are two sections in the Muslims, one is Shia and second is Sunni. And Iran is a country which is a Shia Muslims majority nation. Saudi Arabia is a country which is Sunni Muslims majority nation. What about Iraq? In Iraq, we can say 3/4 of the people follow or belong to Shia section and 1/4 belong to Sunni Muslim majority. What about Syria? Syrian ruler Bashar al-Assad belongs to Shia section. So people in Syria, almost 80% of the people belongs to Sunni Muslim majority, and 10 to 20 percentage belongs to Shia section. Ruler belongs to Shia section, but most of the people belongs to Sunni section. Here, in the main Syrian conflict, that is also called as Arab Spring, part of Arab Spring, one side Bashar al-Assad forces are also called as government forces, which is supported by Russia, and on the other side Syrian rebel groups or Syrian rebel forces that is supported by USA and other Western countries, or you can say NATO countries. Both are fighting each other. We are using the terms that is coming in the news. Rebel forces or rebel groups, both are fighting each other. Rebel groups belongs to Sunni section and Azad belongs to Shia section. Now let's move to the topic of ISIS. How ISIS used the conflict between Shia and Sunni to spread their influence or capture the area. Frequently, Iraq comes in the news because of the frequent bomb blast between Shia and Sunni sections. And there is a fear among the Sunni section about Shia majority because 3/4 of the people follow Shia section in Iraq. So ISIS used the Sunni people's fear in Iraq and promised to establish Sunni caliphate or kingdom. Then many people supported, but ISIS does not support anything. They want to establish Islamic caliphate, and ISIS at present is considered as the most violent terrorist group on the earth. So we discussed ISIS, Iraq and about West Asia in detail from various angles. So prepare thoroughly on the West Asia. It is an important area for prelims and mains examination every year. Another topic that is coming in relation to West Asia is the issue of Kurdistan. Issue of Kurdistan, you should know. Kurd people are located in different parts of various countries in West Asia. Kurd people are indigenous people in the Mesopotamian plains. Mesopotamian plain. In the world history, you might have studied the term Mesopotamian is the land of Mesopotamia, and there is no need to go back into the history. Now let's discuss only the current issues. Here, the people of eastern part of the Turkey and northern part of the Iraq, northern part of Syria and northwestern part of Iran, these people are called as Kurd people, and they want an independent nation called Kurdistan by combining this region. This region is spread mainly in 5 nations: Turkey, Syria, Iraq, Iran and small parts in Armenia as well. So they are asking for independence by combining these parts. But some groups call only for autonomy within its national boundary itself. It means, for example, the Kurdistan part in Iraq called for autonomy and not independence. So the province signed agreement with the federal Iraq government, and at present this region is the autonomous region. autonomy is different from independence. How will you differentiate between autonomy and independence? Independence is a complete freedom. Its foreign policy, everything will be decided by itself. Autonomy means internal freedom. It means the foreign policy of Iraq will be decided by central government, but the state affairs or the province affairs will be managed by Kurdistan people. In Sri Lanka also, the issue of whether providing autonomy to the northern provinces of Sri Lanka or independence, and LTTE was fighting for independence from Sri Lanka and wanted to name the northern part of the Sri Lanka as a Tamil Elam, and in 2009 LTTE was defeated. Now the talks are going on in Sri Lanka whether to provide autonomy to the Tamil majority northern provinces or not. We will discuss in detail about Sri Lankan issue in our another video lecture. Now let's discuss the third topic of the day, that is Real Estate Development and Regulation Act 2016. So in the last 1 year you might have studied about Real Estate Bill, Regulation and Development Bill 2016, then it became an act. This article has been released in Hindustan Times, and also we will discuss additional points in Economic Times newspaper as well. After passing of the bill, the act makes it mandatory within October 31st, all states and union territories should set up real estate regulatory authority. Only few states have started the process. So many states have been asking for extending the deadline for implementing this act. In this background, let's discuss some of the important points in the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016. At present in India, real estate sector is largely unregulated. If a home buyer has a complaint against a developer, means he has to go to the consumer court or civil court for so many rounds, and also there's a lack of adequate consumer protection, makes real estate sector is a vulnerable sector. There's also another issue is that developers gets money from the home buyers for one project, say project A. In the project A, if a developer is going to construct 10 apartment, means the developer is getting the fund from the 10 people and diverting the fund for constructing the project B. Within that he may construct 15 apartments. So diverting the funds meant for one project to the another project is the another issue. Because of the diversion of funds, the persons who paid money for project A, the project definitely will get delayed because of the diversion of the funds. But there is no mechanism for complaining against this at present. The affected consumer has to go to consumer court or civil court. It may take 10 years, 20 years, like that. So in India, real estate sector is largely unregulated. But in 2016, Government of India passed Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016. Under this act, state governments has to set up state real estate regulatory authority and appellate tribunal. Don't forget these points, which are very important for the mains examination. State government has to set up Real Estate Regulatory Authority and Real Estate Appellate Tribunal for complaints registered from the home buyers. Another important point is that if a builder is having a project and the land if exceeds more than 500 square meter or meter squared, then the builder has to register the project with the Real Estate Regulatory Authority before launching and advertising the project. It's the first important point. So builder has to register the project where land is exceeding more than 500 square meter, and the project should be registered with the Real Estate Regulatory Authority before launching and advertising the project. If the developer is not registering the project with the Real Estate Regulatory Authority, means the builder has to pay the penalty of 10% of the project cost. So builder has to pay penalty of 10% of the project cost. If the builder violates the rules again, means he may face 3 years jail punishment. 3 years jail punishment. Each and every fact is important for prelims examination. That's why we are emphasizing 3 years jail punishment, 10% of the project cost, more than 500 square meter land. Don't forget these facts. The law will protect millions of home buyers because at present they face needless harassments because of the limited legal options. If there's a dispute, means they have to go to consumer court or civil court. At present, the courts are already overburdened with the pending cases. If you read the newspaper on daily basis, you may notice one thing about judicial system. The normal court procedure where complaints or cases from all the departments or all sections like arbitration, real estate complaints, any other complaints, all complaints cases goes to the normal court, means courts are already overburdened. Crores of cases are pending in the High Court and Supreme Court. Yesterday also we discussed important topic called arbitration. Here now the process is emerging that special courts or special mechanism has been set up for real estate, means Real Estate Regulatory Authority and Appellate Tribunal, and for arbitration also government is planning to strengthen the arbitration mechanism. So one sector complaint should go to one appellate tribunal. For example, armed forces complaints goes to armed tribunal. Then if the party is not satisfied, then he can go to Supreme Court. Like that, judiciary should be streamlined so that affected party and our common man will get benefited a lot from this mechanism. Another important fact is real estate sector at present contributes to 9% of the India's GDP. Remember, real estate sector contributes to 9% of the India's GDP. That's why it should be regulated. We should note one point here, that should not only protect the interest of the home buyers but should also protect the builders. Mechanism should be made transparent in getting the sanctions and approval from the government officials for constructing a project. So the real estate bill should protect the interest of home buyers on the one side and should also protect the interest of builders. So project approvals should be given in a time-bound manner. Another point is that state governments has to frame their rules by themselves, whereas in case of union territories, central government is responsible for framing the rules. In case of the Delhi, Ministry of Urban Development will frame the rules after consulting the state Delhi government, whereas in case of the other union territories like Chandigarh, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Puducherry, Lakshadweep, Daman and Diu and Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Ministry of Housing is responsible for framing the rules related to the real estate sector development. So according to the section 20 of the Real Estate Sector Regulation and Development Act 2016, state governments have to establish a regulatory authority within 1 year after the law coming into force. So 1 year time is there. Within the time, state government has to set up real estate regulatory authority. Then what about the first 1 year? The first 1 year, state governments has to set up interim authority. State governments has to set up interim authority. Preferably the secretary who's in charge of housing will act as a regulatory authority for 1 year. After that, state governments has to set up real estate regulatory authority. Fine. If complaints received by the real estate regulatory authority means from any section, whether home buyer or from some other section, the complaint should be disposed of within 16 days. Within 60 days, the authority should solve the issue. Another important exam point is that the builders has to register the project which involves more than 500 square meter of land with the regulating authority before launching and advertising the project. And also builders has to register the project that not got completion certificate or not got the occupancy certificate. It's an important point. If builder got the completion and occupancy certificate, then there is no need for registration of these projects with the real estate regulatory authority. And as per the provisions, if a builder wants to register a project with the real estate regulatory authority, the builder has to keep 70% of the funds collected from the buyers, so that regulatory authority will give its approval for the project. And in case if a builder promises to the home buyer to construct a home within 2 years, if the project is getting delayed means the builder has to pay interest. The builder has to pay interest to the home buyers in case of delay. It's another important point in the Act. That's all about this topic on Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016 and its various provisions. In this, we discussed so many important facts. The link for the video lecture given in the comments section. To get many more video lectures from various current affairs topics, join our current affairs 2017 batch. The cost of current affairs course is 5,750 for 1.5 years. The course duration is from June 2016 till December 2017. You will get nearly 1,500 plus video lectures on different topics along with the PDF notes for each video lecture. Share this video lecture with your friends who are preparing for the civil services examination, and all the best. And if you have any query related to our course or any other issues, WhatsApp to us. Our WhatsApp number is 809 809 9922.